Welcome to Human Potential at Work, the show where we explore social impact, inclusion, and empowerment of everyone, including persons with disabilities. Get ready to be inspired, hear success stories, and learn tips and principles for bringing out the best in everyone.
Hey everyone, this is Debra, and this is Human Potential at Work. Today I'm very excited to have Alexander on the show. He is the COO of the Be My Eyes, and I had the pleasure of meeting him when we interviewed him for Access Chat, AXS Chat, and I was so impressed. And I'd heard about the app, but I just did not realize how much this app was changing the world. And so I said, Alexander, please be on my show. So Alexander, welcome to the show today. And if you don't mind telling our guest who you are, how you got involved, what is Be My Eyes? Tell us a little bit about how this even began.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm Alexander and Hauerslev Jensen, and I'm the CCO of Be My Eyes. And Be My Eyes is a mobile application that connects people who are blind or low vision to sighted volunteers and company representatives. And everything happens through our app. So we have a free mobile app that basically, with a click of a button, connects people who can see with people who can see. And the volunteers help out and the companies help out through live video. So it's basically like crowdsourcing site. And the way that the Be My Eyes started was that our inventor and founder, Hans, he is visually impaired himself, and he was working with the Danish blind organization, or the Danish Association of the Blind. And he identified that having to call friends and family using Skype or FaceTime or Zoom or whatever, it's not being truly independent, because you have to rely on relationships to get answers to your questions. So he had the idea to say, why don't we make an app that connects blind and low vision users to sighted volunteers? And with that, the idea of Be My Eyes was born. We launched the app in 2015, and the community has just grown and grown since then. In the beginning, it was just connecting people who are blind or low vision to volunteers. And then after about 2.5 years, we included companies on the platform as well. So now companies like, we work with Microsoft, Procter & Gamble, Google, the Bank of Scotland, Lloyds Bank, and Halifax Bank, and they all provide their customer support through us. So now our blind users have two options: one to call volunteers and one to call companies. Yeah, and it's just been a very, very growing community.
Yeah, it's very exciting. So let's talk a little bit about the app. So how much does the app cost? How do people that are blind use it? And also, I want you to tell the audience something that was so impressive was when the app went out, how many volunteers you had, right away. It's just really unprecedented what has happened with this app.
Yeah, so first of all, the app is 100% free. There's no cost at all to using it. And that has been a very intentional decision from the very beginning. When we look at where our users are all over the world, in any country and any income class, and any both developed and developing countries are on the platform. So it was really, really important for us to keep the service free, to make sure that this is something that can be used by anyone, anywhere. And so that was like our fundamental thing. This has to be free, because we have a saying, we say like an accessibility or like access technology tool is only truly accessible if it's also financially accessible.
Right.
So that was the first thing. We're like, okay, let's keep it free, and let's keep it free forever. So it doesn't cost anything to download it. It doesn't cost anything to use it, and you can use it 10,000 times a day if you want to, and you will never be charged. Of course, there's the same. We use a little bit of data, the same way as we do when we have our Zoom call here, a Skype call, or FaceTime call. Of course, it requires a little bit of cellular data, but that's it. So first of all, no cost at all. The app is, and to how it's being used, the app is extremely easy to use. You can actually, it works, it's fully accessible, so it works with voiceover, but it also works with the voice commands. So you can ask Siri to make a call to a Be My Eyes volunteer, and the app will automatically open and launch the call, so it's actually hands-free as well. And once you get into the app, there's two options. There's an option that says call first available volunteer. And when you tap that button as a blind user, the call will go out to one of our more than 2.8 million volunteers. And Debra, you might remember that we were not even close to that number last time we talked, but I think we got 600,000 new volunteers since we talked last, which is
wow. That's amazing. It's amazing.
So yeah, the call goes out to all of them. You will only be connected to people who speak the same language as you. So if you speak Norwegian, you would only be connected to other people who speak Norwegian. If you speak German, you will only be connected to other people who speak German. And right now we can support 24/7 and completely unlimited. We can support 185 different languages. So it's a truly global community.
And how are people that are blind using this app?
Is what they're using it for.
Mm-hmm.
We're really, really surprised to see what
how creative people are. Yeah.
Everything from our most common use cases is like making sure that there are no stains on the shirt before you go to a job interview, or figuring out what's in your kitchen cabinets, reading your recipes before cooking, making sure that your air conditioning is set to the right temperature, or even like wrapping Christmas presents, making sure that the right the jigsaw puzzles go to this one is for the girl, this one is for the boy, but there's no tactile features on it. So like just having a little bit of assistance in those everyday tasks is truly changing. We also have a lot of really incredible use cases, and one that sticks out, actually one of our users last week tweeted, I don't know if you saw, but I reposted it, and he said that he used Be My Eyes to navigate the churchyard, the cemetery, to find his dad's grave. So he could put flowers at his dad's grave, and he could do that on his own terms and completely independent. So, and that was I never ever thought that the app would be used for that. But I think that was just it just shows independence. It shows how important it is to get your answers to the most personal questions in your privacy of your own home, and to only yourself. And really enough relying on volunteers for that really creates this kind of privacy. So that's really some really, really amazing use cases. We also see that the list of use cases is increasing and increasing because of the companies we have on the platform. So now, if you are a blind or low vision couple, for example, you can go into specialized help. You can select different companies to call. And one of the latest company that we got on the platform is a company called Clear Blue, and they make fertility tests and pregnancy tests. So if you are blind or low vision and you need to read your pregnancy test, your fertility test, you can call Clear Blue's care line directly. So you can talk to an expert who can help you read something as personal as a pregnancy test. And the same goes for like pregnancy test one, but we also work with herbal essences for hair care. We work with Microsoft and Google for technical support, and thanks for banking support. And we're continuing to expand that list of companies, which also means that more and more people can use it for more and more things.
And I love that approach. I love that you're keeping the app free. You have all these volunteers that are helping people that are blind and have vision loss. And I love some of the examples that you gave this time and last time. You were noting, say that you're in a hotel or, and you work the air conditioning, which by the way happens to me all the time. And you can call somebody and they can assist you to, you can think, I think it's complicated. If I was blind and trying to deal with it, how much more frustrating is that going to be? So I love the independence that the app gives to the individuals that are blind and or have severe vision loss. But I also wondered, which you have already started answering it, how do y'all stay in business if everything's free? But this, so I really like the model that you have and that you're starting to include the Clear Blue. And I know that I tweeted and, talked about that particular thing because it's such a great idea. And you have a pregnancy test that I have to be able to see whether or not I'm pregnant. and how wonderful that Be My Eyes now is working with corporations like Clear Blue to make sure that we all can have access to the information that we want. Sometimes right away, instantly, we need this information.
Exactly. And I think that it's, you only really have a disability because the surroundings are designed in a bad way. I think the barriers are really created by how things are designed. And I think that by including the companies in the platform, this is really something that can hopefully bring on a lot of change and help build more accessible venues, products, services, whatever, because the companies, they will also know when people are struggling with their products and services. So like when you call Microsoft or when you call Google and you have an issue, they will know, oh, there's an issue on our website. There's something we need to fix, or there's a bug in the system that doesn't work with a screen reader, and we can fix that. So, but I really, really appreciate that you say that you like the model that we came up with, and I like it because it took a long time to figure it out, and it's not easy to run an app where everything is completely free for years. But I think that we could have rushed into a lot of decisions, picking all of the low-hanging fruits, putting in advertising or charging users or whatever to make sure that this is something that continues to exist and continues to grow. But I think that would have been the wrong decision. So we have a design sentence in our company, and it's actually inspired by a little postcard, and it says, because only everybody wins when nobody loses. Yes. And we that's in the office, and we're like, this has to be our design sentence. We have to look at this postcard whenever we make a decision. We have to make sure that it's not at the expense of someone, and it should never be at the expense of our users. So we sort of use this little postcard as our guiding star for like what to do. And yeah, I think that having both companies, volunteers, and blind users on the app really like ties everything together really nicely. And it's not on everyone wins, because the companies are able to do better and provide an accessible support. Our blind users continue to have a free tool. They continue to do more and more, and we continue to be able to exist and provide free service as a company. So I think that we're able to tick all the boxes with that approach.
How many blind users and vision loss users are using the app? Do y'all know?
Yeah, we are just short of 150,000.
Wow. Wow.
And close to 2.8 million volunteers. That's the numbers for today, at least. And that's
amazing. It's amazing. And a lot of my friends that are blind use Be My Eyes all the time. It has really, really allowed them to be more independent. And I think, if we took this tool away from them, it would really set them back. And so I'm really glad that you have figured out how to monetize it so that the company can stay in existence. It can, and not that was ever a fear, but you have to have money to do our good work. And we talk about this all the time on the show. Often work that is being done that is really changing the world one person at a time. It's not, society doesn't value it enough to pay for it. So I love how you're working with the corporate brands and other brands to make sure that they can continue to enhance the services that they provide to people that are blind and have vision loss. At the same time, feel good about promoting this app that so many people are using and supporting, from volunteers to the individuals that are blind themselves that are using this, and it is invaluable to them. Yeah. So that's exciting.
I completely agree.
Yeah, I know you agree. So just because it's really, really clever what you're doing, it's very clever and it's very impactful to society. So tell us more about the corporations that are supporting you and getting engaged. You've mentioned a few of them, but how are they using this really cool app, once again, Be My Eyes, to make sure that all of their customers, including their customers that are blind or vision impaired, are truly able to use their products and their services?
Yeah, so the way that they use it is that they use it to provide their customer support. Because traditional customer support, where you call in over the phone or you try to chat, is not, if you're trying to explain something, like a lot of the issues that exist are usually because something like something visual. When you call in over the phone, is the first question that the customer support agent would ask is like, what do you see on the screen? Or is it flashing with the green lights or the orange lights? And this, of course, doesn't work if you're blind or low vision. So the way that we are doing it is that if you're blind or low vision and you want to talk to, let's say, Google, you go in, you select Google, and you press call Google, and then we send the call directly to Google's customer support center. So it's a Google agent that you would be talking to, or a Clearblue agent, or a Variable Essences agent, or a Microsoft agent. So you're talking directly to the companies. The companies will receive a video call. So they will be able to say, can you move the phone a little bit to the left and point it in this corner, or whatever it can be, give all the instructions, and they will be able to identify what the problem is and getting the problem solved much faster. So it's basically like a customer support line only for people who are blind or low vision, and through live video. So that's how it works. So they use it as their customer support component.
And think about that. I would just say to the audience, think about the value of that, because yes, we can call using our computers and we can share our screens, but what if I'm someplace where I'm not on my computer, which I often am? And so now I use my device, which, by the way, most of us travel with our devices all the time, and so think of the flexibility that it's giving to these individuals that are blind and vision impaired. We haven't thought about this type of true customer service from a societal point. And so I just think it's so clever. I also really am intrigued with your company and how you took a social cause and you got it funded, you got it done, you got all these volunteers to engage with you, because most people do want to make a difference. And what advice could you give to other people that want to make a difference, or they have some really good ideas, or could you give them any war stories or any advice along the way of what y'all have done to get to this point? And you're not done. You're just beginning.
I think that the reason why BMIS works is because volunteers are really the glue of our community, right? It's we say that we are powered by technology and human generosity, and that's that combination that really makes the whole thing work. And it's really, really incredible to see that thousands and thousands of people are signing up to help complete strangers. And I think it shows something really positive about the world that we live in. We usually hear that, like, if you watch the news, it's easy to it's not the most positive.
Get really depressed.
That is being painted. But this is not political in any way. It's just connecting someone who needs a little bit of assistance with someone who can provide that assistance. And it's as simple as that. It's just connecting two people. We don't care about your gender, where you live, or what you believe in, or anything like that. The only thing we care about is that connecting these two people. And I think that is just such a pure and beautiful thing. I think we as humans are built to help each other out. But with busy lives, the barriers that we put up can be can be hard to find the time to volunteer, or to just help a random stranger. And so I think the app works because it allows people to do what we are built to do. We are built to help each other out. And sometimes it's just good to get that reminder on your phone saying, oh, someone needs your help. And then you just swipe right. And it's very, very easy to understand. And I think it's also a really interesting sneak peek into a world that a lot of us don't really understand. You say, okay, this is if you are blind or low vision, these tasks can be pretty challenging. And just being able to help with that is incredible. But also, hopefully by having so many volunteers on the platform, we raise the general awareness about the importance of designing things in an in an exclusive and accessible way, because people are all of a sudden like, oh, okay, I can see that this can be a problem in my company or the organization that I work for. Is there something that we can change to make our products and services or whatever it is more accessible? So we actually get a lot of people reaching out from the companies they represent. They start out as volunteers, and they might have helped someone pick the right tea, but something clicks and they're like, oh, we should actually do something in the capacity of my company.
Which is powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems to me that I have a daughter, she's 32 years old with Down syndrome, and this could be very helpful for her. Not, it seems like it could help other segments of, the society as well. Mm-hmm. And now, I don't know if y'all have gone down that path.
Yeah, we right now our focus is on blind and low vision, but we actually already have several people who are dyslexic who use the app, who have reached out and asked if they can use the app, reading like the newspaper or a book or a form or whatever it can be, and I think that just shows that this way of connecting people can be used for a lot of different things. It's not exclusively for people with vision loss. It can be for, I think a journalist coined it really nicely, and she said that it's micro volunteering, and it's a good deed waiting to happen in your pocket. And I think that that formula can be used in many, many different areas, whether it's connecting people who are lonely or who are depressed or whatever. Just connecting someone to someone else. I think that model is there to stay.
I agree. And I think that there's this huge, huge need to help people that are aging and, acquiring disabilities or not, or they are, they just don't feel as comfortable with technology. So I think that there's a real opportunity to help the older people as well by doing this. I'm one of those older people. So, but I know my mother hated technology, but at the end of her life, she was living alone and she wanted to be independent. Mm-hmm. And so she would often get confused about the thermostat, or how does she go to a certain channel? How does she find her show on, the television? And so something like this would have been really helpful for her. I mean, she would call me and I would try to be available in others, but I love this idea, because I think there's so many things that we're going to learn from what you're doing. And I think most of society is good and does want to help each other. I believe you in that people are built that way. But what are some surprises that y'all have found with this journey that you've gone on with Be My Eyes?
I think like the first big surprise was that people were so eager to help. That because that was a very big unknown when launching. It was like, are people actually going to sign up both to like be volunteers, but is this a tool that they're going to find help? Our blind users are going to find helpful at all, and one won't exist without the other. So that was definitely like the first surprise or big thing that we realized. Oh, okay. We actually onto something, and that realization happened we got that realization within the first 24 hours. More than 10,000 people signed up to volunteer the first 24 hours, and more than 1,000 blind and low vision users signed up within the first 24 hours. So that myth was busted pretty early. We're like, okay, this is actually something that has the impact to help much more. So that was a big one. We also some of the things that we have been really surprised about is that people are so eager to help, and because we have so many people who have signed up, it can take a little bit of time before you get your first call, depending on which language you speak. So we have actually had volunteers reaching out and asking if it was possible to pay a premium so they can be able to help more. And that was definitely a big surprise. We didn't see that coming. Didn't see that coming at all. And it just goes to show that there's absolutely no limits on how much our users who are blind or low vision can use the app and make it call actually 1,000 times a day. You will never talk to the same person, and you will never disturb anyone. Only people with time will pick it up. So that has been a surprise to see that there's been such an eagerness to help. But it's a really good problem to have.
It is a good problem to have, and it's fun that volunteers are saying, well, I'll pay you to put me higher in the queue so that I get more calls. I'm not getting any calls, but that just shows how eager people are to help. So not to be a Debbie Downer, but I'm very engaged in cyber safety conversations as well. And we're actually starting a nonprofit with Perry Afteb to deal with cyber safety. She's been doing it for years and years. But any concerns? Have y'all run into any, cyber safety concerns? And that's such a big word to use, but how about, do I need to be worried as a woman that's blind using it or things like that? How do you deal with making sure that people feel safe and their location secure? I don't know. There's so many variables. So I was just curious if you could talk a little bit about that.
It's important. So thanks for asking. First of all, no phone numbers, no names, no location, no email addresses, nothing is shared. When you tap that button, you as a volunteer would only get a notification saying someone needs your help. That's the only information I get. So there's no information being shared. Second of all, like Be My Eyes, you shouldn't use it to activate your credit card or for anything that puts you in danger, because these are volunteers. But the way that we are addressing this is by including the banks, because you can talk to your bank about your credit card. You can talk Clearblue about your pregnancy test. You can talk to Microsoft about your Microsoft-related stuff. So being able to do more by connecting our users directly to the companies is a way of addressing the use cases. So, but I think it's just important to remember that, like, don't use it for anything that with your personal information on it. Don't use it for like credit cards, social security numbers, passports, all these things. And that's that. And our blind users are really in control of this. We don't share anything, and there's no way for them to be connected or to meet up.
So those are really, really good points. I wanted to make sure that we covered. It seems to me that more corporate brands need to join Be My Eyes, because we, as an accessibility field and disability inclusion, we're doing our best to help all these corporations, all these brands get accessible. But the reality is there is so much work to do all across the board. So how can more corporations, how can you name some that are pretty impressive brands, but what can they do to get more involved and to help Be My Eyes?
So the first step is just to go onto the website. There's a section that's called For Businesses. You can also go to specializedhelp.com and plug in your information, and we will reach out. And we think that it's really, really important that the companies get these calls and that we don't take them, because it's important to raise this kind of awareness internally in the company, so the calls can be used to improve their products. So the same call doesn't happen twice. The calls only happens because something is not designed right. Because if it was designed right, the call wouldn't happen.
Right.
So hopefully the number of calls should be going down as products and services are being improved. And they will only be improved if the companies get these and they are able to file bugs and they're able to make adjustments and feed the information back to the product team who can make things more accessible. And the use cases are really many. It's not only technology companies or product companies. It's everything from navigation of train stations, airports, football stadiums, and telcos, anything really that can be improved, where the customer support can be improved by doing things through live video. And we're working with several other big companies who are gonna get on. and hopefully that's going to pave the way. We're really proud that some of the industry leaders from different respective industries have done the right thing, and are now providing a more accessible and customer support. So we invite all companies to join, and yeah, everyone's welcome just to reach out through the website. That's the easiest way.
And it seems to me there's a very big opportunity here for hospitality, for the hotel industries and the entertainment industries and the movies and the restaurants. I mean, I remember one time going to lunch with a gentleman that was blind, a friend of mine, and the waiter was very excited and very nice. And he said, "Oh, we have a Braille menu." So he went over and he got the Braille menu and he gave it to my guest. And so he read the Braille menu and we went to order. And the waiter's like, "Oh, well, that menu's like 3 menus old." So he tried one. Nope, we don't have that anymore. Well, how about that? Nope, we don't have that anymore. How about that? Nope, we don't have that. And my friend got frustrated and he said, "Debra, will you read me the menu so that I can actually order something that is on the menu?" So it was such well intentions with such failures. And I mean, I was having lunch with him, so he was with a sighted person, so I could assist him. But every once in a while, I need or like to eat by myself in a restaurant. And so, wouldn't it be wonderful if we could have access, to things like menus? So that's
yeah, as you say, the use cases are many, and hospitality, I think, is a great example. Making sure that, and this makes sense also for the companies, also because it makes business sense.
It does.
A lot of people. And I think if you're able to provide a good service, then there's a chance that people will select your hotel, or select your phone carrier, or your bank, or your hardware, because this customer support that works. So, and hopefully, this is something that more and more companies, they realize that, okay, this is not only the right thing to do, but it's also a good business opportunity, and it makes sense because it makes sense because it makes sense.
It does. And every time you make something more accessible, it makes it more accessible for all the rest of the population too. It makes it more easy for us all to use. And so it really is a great idea. And I remember I often will do training for our customers. We will bring in individuals that are blind or they have different disabilities, and our customers learn so much watching them use their products or their apps or their website. They learn so much because often the designers don't really understand how the people with the different disabilities are using or trying to use their services. So I think there's so many benefits that the designers and the product people can learn. But once again, as a reminder, every time something's accessible, we all win. So, that's definitely something. Do you want to comment on that? And then I'm going to ask you one more question.
And I mean, I completely agree. I think
yeah, we're on the same page there.
We completely on the same page. I think everyone wins when things are done in inclusion.
Right, and we all want to participate. So, Alexander, tell the audience how they can. What your website address is. I know you're very active on social media. The app is available, both for Androids and iPhones. Tell us more about how to find you, how to follow you, how to support you.
Yeah, so you can join the community just by downloading the app. It's Be My Eyes in 3 words. You can download it in the App Store and in the Play Store. Once you've done that, you just create a user and you're good to go. It should take you no more than 2 minutes. So that's if you want to volunteer or sign up as a blind or low vision user. You can also follow us on, it's just Be My Eyes on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram,
Twitter,
YouTube, all of
Facebook,
all of them.
all of them.
Yeah. So yeah, please check in there, and it's bemyeyes.com is our website. But really make sure to stay tuned on the social channels. That's where we post big updates, and we also do a lot of community stories. So if you want to hear about stories from the community, we interview both our blind users, the companies that we work with, our volunteers, and everyone involved. So please make sure to check that out. And actually, last thing is that we just launched a new podcast. It's called the Be My Eyes podcast. You can find it in wherever you get your podcast, I guess. And it's everything accessibility related. Interviewing a bunch of really, really interesting people who talks about blindness and sight and the blurry in between. So that's a really, really they're going to be published every second week. We have 2 episodes out now. Make sure to check that out, the Be My Eyes podcast.
Yes, and I'll be sure to promote that on my social media channels too. But Alexander, thank you for you and your team, everything that you're doing, because I know that there's a lot of good happening in the world. We just have to focus on it. And Be My Eyes is such a great success story. And I think you're only going to continue to be more successful and to change the world. And I know I'm very grateful for it. So I always want to tell the stories of people that are making a difference in the world. And I know that y'all are. So thank you for the work that you're doing with Be My Eyes.
Thank you so much for your kind words, and thanks for inviting us on the show. It really helps the community grow. And yeah, thank you so much for helping us getting the story out there. So thank you.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you to the audience for watching or listening today. And remember, it's Be My Eyes, BeMyEyes. So look forward to continuing this conversation and continuing to promote what they're doing. And Alexander, thank you for being on the program today. Bye, everyone.